Everybody. It is the 23rd. Does that sound right? Yeah, it's the 23rd of October, 2024. And this is my first video back on YouTube. And I'm probably going to upload this on Rumble as well. I've got a new channel over there. It's called the No Political Parties Rumble, minus the. So, No Political Parties Rumble is my channel on Rumble. I've got 3 videos over there now, and each one is hovering at over 150 views. So, and that's on a brand new setting with 4 followers, myself being one of the 4. So, it kind of starts to paint a picture of potential demoting of content and shadow banning with an ulterior motive. If I've got 305 followers and it's not showing an average of something that's exceeding that of a brand new page that I just made. It's interesting. And I also was monetized on day 1 at Rumble, and I've already made money off my channel on Rumble, believe it or not. While it's not enough to buy yourself a beer in Las Vegas, it is still amazing the differences between the 2 platforms. And the sole purpose of this is to give transparent, honest information that is hard to come by nowadays. The only place you might acquire that is by a random person. So what I want to talk about first and foremost, I've got some redacted notes written down, vaguely jotting down some topics that need to be covered in this video. And I really hope I don't leave anything out. First of all, I got my second strike on YouTube about a week ago, within 7 days of when Jim Jordan sent a letter to Alphabet and Sundar, the CEO of Google, saying that from the head of the Committee of Weaponization of the Federal Government, keep in mind, not just from Jim Jordan's personal duties as a representative, he's also a member of that specific committee, that has specific duties. So he's telling this recently determined monopoly that there's proof that they have been demoting, shadow banning, hiding, for lack of a better way to put it, content with a variety of ulterior motives. Some of which are obvious political reasons, some of which are hiding, like the whistleblowers from the FBI of May of 2023 and their stories, because their stories are big stories, each one of those individuals, and the type of mistreatment that they've gone through for quite a while now. And thank God we've got a representative that is willing to speak out and have their backs. And hopefully in the future he will do the same thing for our victim group, as they are connected in more ways than one, as you will you will see. Excuse me, I'm not laughing, I'm coughing. As you all will see in time, this is all connected, and that's what I try to do on my channel. It's one of the things that I try to do, is paint the picture how this all connects. While I don't have the ability yet to do a perfect platter like a lawyer that I follow, to make a chart with the visuals of every single perfect thing on essentially a digital whiteboard, that you can dive into video stories and visuals. It's as simple as just getting the software, so I need to go do that. But moral of the story, getting back to the topic at hand here, is how I got my second strike and why. It was for medical misinformation policy. Now keep in mind, I wasn't talking about Dr. Anna Maria Mahalcia's peer-reviewed, 100% accurate scientific study talking about a specific thing that I'm not going to say, because you can just look it up. I didn't even talk about that. I was talking about how I'm having a bad day of targeting. My symptoms were very high, over 5. You know, it's hard to say exactly what the feeling was, going back over a week now. I took a video starting from when I was driving from the north part of Las Vegas to central Las Vegas, and every single time on that day of heavy symptoms that I drove by a cell tower, My EMF meter I was holding by my head that was providing extreme relief for me at that moment made a high-pitched ringing noise on it, to the point where cell towers in sight, like a line of sight, as I've read about, I could get a ham license if I go do it tomorrow type of shit. So, and it's not impressive, really, you know what I mean? You can all learn about what radio frequencies are. Our whole world fucking runs on it. You should. That's how you're watching this, as a form of radio frequencies. Hopefully it's not modulated in a way that's being harmful right now, or the flicker, it's being bad, or God knows X, Y, or Z, you know what I mean? There's a lot that goes into things that can affect the biology of a person, especially when how much has evolved in the last 15, 20 years. So I got a strike for medical misinformation policy. When I recorded a video in the middle of October, not talking about my opinions or my care plan, referring to any recent thing that's gone on or hasn't gone on, you know what I mean? I was saying that I'm having heavy symptoms of targeting. As I drive by each and every cell tower that I would pass on my normal way to the middle of town, there was a high-pitched ringing coming from my Safe and Sound Pro 2 EMF meter. And I'm going to put an affiliate link in the description I just barely got to give everybody a discount on these wonderful life-saving meters. And this company's got really caring tech support too, that really cares about us and our well-being. And for example, one of my meters, sound went out on it, and I emailed their tech support. A gentleman named Kevin got back to me. He said, you know what, just pay shipping, we'll expedite it to you, because I explained to him how much this has been saving my rear end with the type of health problems I'm going through. I said I had a building biologist come out to my house. He said, this is why you're having X, Y, and Z symptom. And I said to him, this has been some magic godsend way, has been helping absorb, attenuate, block, whatever, make me feel relief when I have this meter nearby. And that's what I said to Kevin. And you know what he did? He said, we got one coming your way, just pay shipping and it's expedited. So that's admirable service in a digital world where a lot of the time you're talking to a person from another country, if they even get back to you. I've got numerous elderly people that I have in my family network that have been scammed in absolutely malicious ways, as far as online purchasing of goods, where it's drop shipped and they just don't give a shit. You can't get a hold of them. They say ship it here, then ship it there, then ship it there, then ship it there. You know what I'm talking about. So, but moral of the story is, this company saves my ass all the time. And they provide unbiased third-party scientific proof of what's happening. We're being hit with extreme values. They attach a little card in this purchase that says that biological effects occur from radio frequency radiation, wireless EMF radiation, prior to heating effects do. So we're having our biology, our brain, our neurological elements of us, our biological elements of us, all of it, interfered with in a very careful way that's no accident. And this type of thing shows you about it and gives you information about it. And they've got great tech support in customer service. I meant to say customer service. So when I was using this unbiased piece of scientific equipment in that video to record the activity that's happening, my extreme targeting symptoms that I was going through that day, and I was not saying, here's my care plan for Dr. Anna Maria Myalcia's care plan for the things that are happening. I wasn't even talking about that. I was just driving, holding this up over my head, and letting this do the talking for me. About a 15 to 20 minute video. And it was flagged for medical misinformation, taken down, and my channel got a second strike. So the importance here is that that entire policy was written for COVID-19. That policy didn't exist before COVID-19. And I didn't violate the policy. I didn't talk about anything that went against WHO guidelines on that topic. So I was given a strike for no reason, and this is the second time I was given a strike for no reason on YouTube/Alphabet's social media app. You know what I mean? What used to be a video sharing awesome thing, and now it's like it's morphed into something else. So moral of the story here is I read the whole policy. There's three main parts to it. Every single one of them lists COVID, and it says that you can't tell people X, Y, or Z about it or anything about it. And I was talking about targeting and how I'm feeling symptoms regarding my targeting. So the WHO is supposed to be a World Health Organization. So they're supposed to be looking out for our health. And even this company says that our own FCC is missing their mark as far as what needs to be acknowledged, as far as what can be harmful. Now, prior to going through Voice to Skull, I paid zero attention to radio frequency. So if you don't go through Voice to Skull and you pay zero attention to radio frequency, go ahead and keep paying zero attention to radio frequency. It might not be that much of a problem for you. But when you are being targeted, you know for a fact you're being targeted, you're being communicated to deliberately. There's no other logical, scientific explanation for what is occurring other than Voice to Skull, subliminal messaging, those types of things. Now, simultaneously, while I have my information directly referring to this targeting program, who Dick Cheney is the director of, who just endorsed Kamala Harris, who was the vice president for George W. Bush, who is really high up there in the ranks with the New World Order people. It's safe to say, well, it's not safe to say, it's my opinion that his organization has been in charge of the presidency and the leadership of the country for the last 20 years or so. Not that if Trump wins the election, then he will try to remain in office for the next X amount of years. So it's typical gaslighting from the same exact people that are literally running the torture program in America, the blacklisting program in America. So it's financial wealth, happiness, being tracked, hit with PSYOPs. And they're mislabeling it as categories 3 and 4 of the TSDB, as disclosed by Targeted Justice. So what I've been up to of late is I've been wanting to talk about an Easter egg / a psychological preparation, as Serge Monast might describe it. That's one of the takes on my video that I've been working on, about the feed from Amazon Studios, which is a show on Amazon Prime that literally shows scenes exactly like remote neural monitoring and being targeted, except it's like kind of in a sci-fi sense where everybody has two-way connection to the feed, like as if you're wearing Apple goggles or Snapchat spectacles or something like that. But as you and I know, if you're a targeted person or if you're around this information stream, that the Department of Defense and these defense contractors have been able to tap into exactly that for every single person for quite a while now. So when you're targeted hardcore with radio frequency, I believe that remote neural monitoring and Voice to Skull is possible. It seems like there's something happening on a much larger scale now, and that's where the SELFASSEMBLINGNANO is coming into play here. So I don't know if that was the thing possibly that that they said is medical misinformation, although it was peer-reviewed by a doctor who is that's not medical misinformation. That's just multiple doctors came to the same page that is occurring. Okay, so everybody go watch The Feed on Amazon Studios and The Bull, which is a little bit older show that is like essentially reading the minds of juries and trying to get the perfect. It's a jury consulting firm for like legal settings where they read the minds of juries and create the perfect argument to win any trial type of thing. So The Feed and The Bull both are Easter eggs that are psychological preparations that we've all been exposed to. They're public in the last 5 to 10 years. So the author of Project Bluebeam, who was mysteriously found to have passed of a heart attack, which, as we know, there's a patent for technology to give a remote cardiac arrest. This is theorized to be the same cause of unaliving that Dr. Robert Duncan, or Robert Duncan as we know him, but I had read that he had achieved the status of doctor and was just not given the titles because of the projects that he worked on. I'd also seen a channel of misinformation channel, or it's not malinformation, it's malicious information, trying to deceive about him, it seems, that was trying to discredit him. From everything I've read in Soul Catcher Volume 2, which is the majority of Soul Catcher Volume 2, he's 100% legit, and he helped a lot in a time when I didn't know as much as I did buying that book as I did after reading as much as I have and now. So I think he's definitely one of the good ones, and it's sad that he's no longer here. Rest in peace. It's sad that he didn't share more information also that he was able to share, especially because he ended up being murdered anyway. But I could just imagine the type of threats he was going through. I know I've had tons and tons and tons and tons of threats. I couldn't even fill out, it would take a whole notebook to fill up the threats that I've gone through throughout this entire targeting. So my second strike, my channel's about to be shut down on YouTube here, so I made a Rumble. It's called No Political Parties Rumble. I've got 3 videos there. My last one was about Serge Manasse and Project Bluebeam, the stuff I'm working on right now, while I'm trying to take care of myself a little bit and not spend so much time on the internet, because it's all maliciously, corruptly handled right now, especially if you're targeted. You start to figure this stuff out, your life changes in a malicious, experimental type of way. So go ahead and just not dive into this if you're not going through full symptoms. But at the same time, this type of comprehension of this type of thing that's definitely real gives you further comprehension on how the world works and peace of mind if you truly want to know. So basically the political situation right now is most likely being handled by the same people that are backing the New World Order. That's why we're seeing this censorship linked to World Health Organizations or a World Economic Forum is a synonymous way to put that, just as V2K is to MAE. So you can't experience V2K without being a conspiracy theorist or a wacko. But MAE is something that James C. Lynn, a doctor, wrote a book on, and is part of weapon systems like Medusa. So it's either one or it's two. It's not both, right? So is it true or is it false? Well, right there is the information that you need to know. And when it comes to why I got a strike, it reminds me of how I got my first strike, which is a pretty good story if you've got the time. There was a gang stalker on YouTube. They were either using Chief Handler as their account name, Painbow, or Nerve. Everybody that's been around for a little while remembers all of these names, I'm sure. And what they were doing is they were taking videos of themselves from a underground shooting range, showing a government scan-in badge, so it was a private government shooting range. They were printing and taking out pictures of targeted individuals, blowing them up to the point where they could hang it on the cliffs, send it back in the nice bougie shooting range, and then they would talk shit about targeted individuals while shooting bullets into their heads. So that's terrorizing a victim group, that's promoting violence, that's extremely threatening, and I reported it and that channel got taken down. But I also got a strike on my channel when I did that. Okay? So that was my first strike. My second strike is for medical misinformation. I didn't talk about my Dr. Anna Maria Myalcia peer-reviewed study-backed care plan that I've been telling targeted people is safe, healthy, and 100% smart thing to do with this. Because if you're going through it 24 hours a day like I am, it's not the most likely thing that you have a constant beam like just locked on your body. There's some more scientific themes in place here, like the mental warfare that's been described in DARPA presentations, the cognitive warfare, the cognitive surveillance. Okay, that's more than just a single do assault. You know what I mean? So like we're constantly having our remote neuromonitoring or our V2K symptoms. It's a continuous feeling of being watched. So that's where it differs. It's not just a military grade panel array pointed at you. There is something scientifically missing, binding all of this together, and we're getting closer and closer to that. So it's amazing to me that while I'm saying, hey, I'm getting very heavy symptoms of targeting today, every time I drive by a cell tower with this meter that took me a very long time to find the right type of meter with such a wide range, that who told me to get this? A building biologist that cost a lot of money to have him come out and give me expert opinion. And he went to school a long, long time to know exactly what he's talking about, and said, I'm right on the money. All my symptoms are because of radio waves, and this will help, and it has. It helps absorb that range of radio frequency I wasn't able to get. And that day, when I was feeling heavy symptoms of targeting, I took about a 15 to 20 minute video driving from the north part of town to the middle part of town, which is two different jurisdictions. As I had this up over my head, there's a high-pitched whining happening every single time I drive by a cell tower. Every time a cell tower is in sight, the tracking beacon type of pulse that was happening, in addition to a ripple of V2K, robotically, and I was intercepting it to the point where I was not hearing jack shit. Okay? Every single time I drove by a cell tower, a high-pitched whine would come on, as loud as this thing could play it, to the point where that's all you could hear. Just a screeching. Every single time a cell tower was in sight. And if I took this down from my head, I said, oh my God, I feel horrible. I might vomit. I feel fatigued. I feel terrible. And I had just woken up. Felt fine before the targeting intensified. So holding this up, I felt serious relief. That's what Alphabet is hiding. They illegally, wrongfully labeled it medical misinformation policy. They gave me a 90-day ban for my second strike, which the first one was wrong also. Then when I said, okay, I will appeal this to hopefully try to make it only a 7-day ban, what they did is they did not give me a comment box or an email box to reply to them, to say anything, to attach any documents, any pictures, to voice any opinion, nothing. They say, do you want to submit an appeal? I said, yes, I want to submit an appeal. That's the whole thing. The same people that gave me this channel strike analyzed this appeal that consisted of me clicking a single button that said, don't block my channel, not even the fact that, hey, I can watch this video again, see if I violated any policies, rephrase anything that you've got a problem with. That would have been my phraseology, but no, strike on my channel, one more, it's gone. And that's the second, the last video I posted prior to that was talking about how Jim Jordan, who is sitting at the Committee of Weaponization of Federal Government, just sent a letter on behalf of that committee to Sundar, the CEO of Google, about how they are demoting, shadow banning, hiding content. So my second to last video, ironically, was just about being shadow banned, demoted, etc. And then now that's my second strike. I'm off the platform for a week. When I'm talking about a correlation to radio frequency harming me and me feeling badly from it, which a building biologist confirmed all to be a fact. That doesn't violate any World Health Organization anything. I would have it printed out and in my file fucking cabinet already, Alphabet. And I didn't say anything about the vaccine. And if I did, I don't have a dark field microscope in my fucking house. I leave it up to an expert like Dr. Anna Maria Myhalsia and Dr. David Nixon.